Welcome back to another video from PM Problems, the site dedicated to project management, construction management, and workplace topics. If you love that stuff too, be sure to check out our website at solvepmproblems.com for tons of free articles, downloads, and more. Now, let's get into today's topic. Email is thoroughly ingrained in the modern workplace. Millions of professionals spend hours each and every day on email-related activities at work. When we consider that email's only been around for about 25 years, that's a lot of time. That's probably because email is incredibly useful. It's almost unreal how easy it is to exchange so much information. But with this great power comes great responsibility. Many people wield the power of email with reckless abandon, wreaking havoc in their paths. In all seriousness, let's talk about email etiquette in the workplace and 10 email blunders to avoid at all cost. To make things a little spicier, I've included an example for each. Let's get into it. Now that we get email on our phones, it can feel like we're working 24/7. Even though we usually receive a couple of emails after the workday is done, it's understood by most people that you don't expect a response until the next day. But how about those coworkers who do expect a response? Whether it be a boss making last-minute plan changes or a coworker being needy, receiving emails after hours with the expectation of us responding is quite annoying. It invades our personal life and keeps us at work mentally when we should be focusing on other aspects of our lives. Respecting personal time in this manner was normal before email was invented, so we need to respect our coworkers' privacy after hours, even though we have the ability to contact them at the touch of a screen. Demanding responses after hours is one of the most common and annoying email blunders at work. If you've been drinking or indulging in other mind-altering activities, it's usually a good idea to stay off the email, especially for work. At best case, you'll be in a happy state of mind and will express your undying love for your coworkers. This will be weird, but forgivable. But what happens when you've been drinking and get upset or angry? I don't know what you'll say, but I do know that you'll probably regret it. You'll end up saying things that you otherwise would not in a sober state of mind. No matter how good of an idea it may seem at the time, it's a general best practice to avoid emailing while intoxicated, even if this means locking up your phone for the time being. Alcohol and email at work do not mix well. We all make mistakes, both at work and in our personal lives. Sometimes these mistakes are made innocently, while others can be made out of arrogance, negligence, or even incompetence. Unless the person really deserves it, or you need to do some damage control, it's best to keep accusations out of emails, where they'll be recorded indefinitely. This multiplies tenfold when a person decides to call out someone else's mistake in an email and copy several other people. Not only does it put them on the spot, but it drags everyone else into the issue and creates unnecessary tension as well. Remember, once something's written, it doesn't go away. Even when it's deserved, blaming others in writing is still one of the more harmful email blunders you can make at work. Fair and reasonable email etiquette at work requires us to not put our coworkers on blast when they don't deserve it, or when it doesn't help anybody. Many people feel like they've already got more work on their plate than they can handle. When you combine this with how many hours people spend on email already, ain't nobody got time for a wall of text. So what is a wall of text, you ask? They take several minutes to read, even longer to understand, have lots of unnecessary information, very little organization, and basically no use of paragraphs or breaks. Receiving a wall of text in an email is like the professor handing you a textbook and expecting you to ace the course on your own. While some people think an email should only be a sentence or two, it's not always practical. With that in mind, shorter emails are generally better, both in terms of being more efficient and for making sure that we don't drive others up the wall of text. Making a promise and breaking it is bad in any case, but it gets a whole lot worse when we promise in writing. Unless we're completely sure that we can keep a promise or hit a deadline, it's best to avoid putting specifics in writing. We incriminate ourselves in the future, and we make others doubt how reliable we really are. It's a piece of cake to avoid making this blunder, though. Simply avoid making promises you can't keep in writing or in person. Do you feel like it's hard to focus on work when your phone is dinging every few minutes? Me too. If it weren't for the need to take phone calls regarding specific projects, I'd keep my phone on silent the entire day and check it when I'm able. These dings and alerts are annoying enough as they are, but what about when we're part of an email chain that's being treated like a chat room? Except unlike a chat room, there is no escape. Not only are these constant alerts frustrating, but our inbox gets flooded with all sorts of stuff. Lots of stuff. Even when we love our coworkers, one of the cardinal email sins at work is to fill their ears with dings and buzzes. Email etiquette in the workplace requires us to not figuratively blow up their phones. It's already an unwritten rule for many, but maybe it should be a written rule at this point. One does not simply send emails to people when they're out sick, on vacation, or take a personal day. To be clear, this doesn't mean that we never send emails to people who are out of the office. If we need to pass along some pertinent information, that's fine. The trouble arises when we're expecting a response, or we're passing blame, or sending other emails that are disturbing to those that are out. When you're fully aware that a coworker receives emails on their phone, it's safe to say that we'll be interrupting their time off by sending emails like these. As we said before, a major aspect of email etiquette at work is to not intrude on others' personal lives, and that's especially the case on days they've made themselves unavailable. The majority of us receive work emails on our phones at this point, so it's safe to assume that at least a few phones will be dinging when we send that 3 a.m. email. Most people don't want to be sending or receiving emails at that hour. Everyone needs to rest and recuperate in their off time to perform their best. While sending out emails at night can show dedication and serve as proof of those late hours, they're still most likely waking somebody up. This counts tenfold when the email's about something bad. In the past, this was one of the email blunders at work that was forgiven. There was just no easy way to send files to somebody without attaching them to an email. Nowadays, there's seldomly a good excuse for sending a huge file in this manner. Services like Dropbox and other cloud-based file sharing systems are free and easy to use. They only require that you send a link to the recipient to click and download, as opposed to the files jamming up their inboxes. That's the worst part about it. Large files fill up inboxes much quicker than normal emails. Many inboxes have a size limit, and when we exceed it, we must move or delete emails out of our inbox before we can send or receive email again. When one is not at their computer and is working via phone, this becomes impossible. For the sake of our coworkers' ability to keep emailing, it's best to avoid clogging up their inbox. The last blunder on our list, but certainly not the least, is communicating solely through email. Without a doubt, email improves our ability to work. But just because email is so great doesn't mean that we can successfully work with others while only communicating by email. People need direction, engagement, and chances to ask questions. They may need more information or the chance to express their thoughts. Email barely allows for this, and when they're relied on too much, we get some of the situations we've already covered, such as walls of text, instant messenger emails, etc. In turn, the email savvy among us must face this potentially hard truth. Email is only part of effective communication, not the sole means of doing so. And that wraps up our list of 10 email blunders to avoid at work to practice reasonable email etiquette. I hope this has been helpful and that you enjoyed our examples. For more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe to stay in touch. You can also head over to our website at solvepmproblems.com for tons of free articles, downloads, and more. Just click the link in the description below. Until next time, this is PM Problems, signing off.